Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to get into our day 2 workout here in a second. Hopefully you feel good after day 1. Excited to go through day 2 stuff with you. The format's going to be very similar. I'm going to have you go through the same warm-up circuit that we did on day 1. And then we're going to get into some triceps. The exercises will be mostly different, but a little bit of repetition is necessary just because we're limited to body weight. So we're going to go ahead and get through our warm-up. That clip is going to come up next, and then I'll catch you back here for day 2 strength. See you in a minute for the stretch. So the first stretch we're going to do is an overhead lat stretch, or if you've ever taken yoga, you might know it as downward dog. So all we're going to do is be on our knees. We're going to think about pushing our butt back toward our heels, sliding our arms forward, taking a deep breath in through your nose, and then exhaling hard through your mouth. Three big breaths there. And now we're going to work on your hips. And what we're going to do next is a 90-90 stretch. So we can really think about making 2 letter L's with the back leg and the front leg. So we want to be 90 degrees at the back leg, 90 degrees at the front leg. You may notice when you sit in this position, one leg tries to stick up in the air. What we're going to think about doing is using the muscles in the hip to try and push both knees into the floor. From there, we're going to reach over the front shin, keep a good tall chest, and we're probably going to feel a stretch in your hip. If not, we can lean a little bit more forward, but what we don't want to do is drop your chest to the floor. So from here, we're going to think about pressing both knees into the floor. Deep breath in. And we'll get 3 big breaths. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, both knees bent to 90, chest up nice and tall. Lean over that front shin. Should feel a stretch in my left hip right now. Awesome, that's a great stretch in the hip. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to an all-fours position, and we're going to do what's called a cat-cow. So really what we're going to do is think about humping up cat, big round spine, chin to the chest, and then flatten out with our chin to the ceiling. We're going to go nice and slow. Again, we don't want to cause any pain or discomfort. We should just feel a decent stretch in your low back and that hump. And then maybe a little stretch in our neck as we look up. We'll get a total of 5 of these. And then from the same position, we're going to get some neck rotation. So I'm just going to take my chin toward one shoulder and then take it toward the other. We'll get 5 each side. Good, and you may notice one side is a little tighter there. That's kind of normal. We just don't want to work through pain. Okay, from here, we're going to maintain that all-fours position. We're going to take a wide stance with your knees, keep your chest up, and we're just going to rock the hips back until we feel a decent stretch in the groin, and then we're going to rock forward. What we don't want to do is round the spine. So we want to keep the chest up, rock back, inhale forward. And we'll get 5 of these. Okay, so from there, I'm going to show you from the front. We're going to keep that wide position with the knees, but we're going to take one leg straight out to the side. The foot's going to be pointed straight ahead and flat on the ground. We're going to rock back, and now this time we're going to feel that stretch in the inner thigh of the straight leg. Same rules, exhale back, inhale forward. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, wide stance with the knee. Awesome. Now, we're going to mobilize our thoracic spine a little bit. So I'm going to show you from the side on this one. We're going to think about sitting back on our heels. We're going to push one hand hard into the ground, one hand behind the ear, elbow to elbow, and then turn, exhale up. We really want to fight to turn that elbow toward the ceiling as high as we can. We'll get 5, and then we'll switch sides. For those of us that are spending way more time on Zoom and our computers than we like, this exercise is your best friend. Okay, 2 more we're going to get before we move on. The next we're going to get is a Spider-Man stretch. So if I go from an all-fours position, what I'm going to think about is bringing one hand up on my hand and then sliding my back knee back. So now I should feel a stretch in the front of my back leg. From here, I'm going to keep the tall chest. I'm going to squeeze my butt on the down leg side, and I'm going to breathe. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Last but not least, we're going to get our ankle move. So from a half kneeling position, we're going to take one leg and turn it so it's perpendicular in line with your knee. Pull your foot in just a little bit, and we're going to rock your weight out over your toe, but really focusing on sticking that heel in the ground. If you feel this in the knee, we're not doing it correctly. We should feel a little bit of a stretch in the back of our calf, maybe a little bit of a pinch in the front of your ankle. We don't want to feel this in the knee, though. We'll get 5, and then do the same thing on the other side. One more is 5. Cool. Now we're going to do some movement prep. Okay, 4 exercises in this drill. The first is going to be a toe touch squat. So what we're going to do is think about reaching for our toes, sitting down so the elbows end up inside of the knees. One arm up, the other arm up, drive from the heels and stand up. We'll get 5 of these. So we're going to sit, one arm up, the other arm up, stand up. Really think about pushing your heels through the floor. Try not to push from your toes. And there's 5. Okay, next, we're going to get a split squat. So we're going to stay in this half kneeling position. Now what we're going to think about is shifting your weight forward a little bit. And we want to imagine all of our mental weight being on our front heel, not through pushing through the back toe. A little bit of a lean forward. We're going to drive through that front heel, stand up, back down nice and slow. Try not to crash land at the bottom. We'll get 5, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, a little bit of stretch in that back hip, drive from the heel. There's 5. Next, lateral squat. So we're going to go nice and wide with your feet. Step slightly forward with one foot. And we're going to think about sitting behind that, in this case, my right heel. So I'm shifting my weight sideways and sitting behind my right heel. We'll get 5 of these, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Perfect. Okay, one more movement prep. Single leg deadlift with reach. So with this, I'm going to think about all my weight on my right leg, bend my knee slightly. And what I want to think about is getting along with both my arms and my left leg without locking out my right knee. And I'm going to stand up. There's 5, and we'll get 5. There's 5. So that is our warm-up. Hit pause on this video if you need to. Grab a sip of water, and we're going to get into our strength work. Good job so far, guys. See you in a minute. All right, so here we go on day 2. 3 exercises. The first one we're going to get is a hip bridge variation. So 2 options. We can either go 2-leg hip bridge, which is going to require us to think about laying flat on our back, knees bent, toes pointed toward the ceiling. And we're going to think about pulling your hips to your ribs, engaging your abs. Arms are going to go over your chest. We're going to pull up and squeeze your butt. Hold for a 3 count, and then back down. We can go double leg hip bridge for 8 reps. Okay. Big thing with this is we should feel this in the lower portion of our body, not in our low back. If this is really comfortable, we can pull one knee into the chest. Again, the down leg has to have the toe up and squeeze. Hold for a 3 count and back down. We want to think about having our knee, hip, and shoulder all line up when we do this exercise, and we should not feel it in the low back. So either double leg or single leg hip bridge for 8 reps. Then we'll be back to push-up like we were the other day. Just to review, push-ups should look like moving planks. Some of us are going to have to elevate. Again, I have an 18-inch box here. It could be a countertop, it could be a couch, a couple chairs, whatever you have access to. We just want to think about being strong in the ribs, screwing your hands into the surface, down in one piece, up in one piece. So we should feel this in the chest, the arms, the abs, not the neck or the back. We'll get 8 reps there. And then third is going to be our legs only deadlift. So how this is going to work, we'll lay flat on our back with our knees to our chest, elbows close to the knees. And what we want to think about is kind of taking away any arch in the low back. Then we're just going to extend one leg out and pull it back in. Now when we extend, we're going to exhale. Pull it back in, inhale. And then we can alternate. When we do this, we should feel this in our abs, maybe a little bit in the hip, never in the low back. So that's our first tricep, guys. We're going to go 8, either double leg or single leg hip bridges. We're going to go up to 8 push-ups. The same rules still apply. As many good reps as possible. Don't gut out 8 if the last 2 really don't look and feel that good. And then last is going to be legs only dead bug. That will be 8 on his side as well. So let's try and get 3 sets. Go ahead and hit pause on this video, and we'll catch back up for the second strength set. See you in a minute. All right, guys, good job on that first round. We'll get through our next set of 3 exercises, and that will complete our day 2 workout. So you guys are doing great so far. 3 things we're going to do. Split squat. Okay, these are going to be very similar to what we did in warm-up, only we're going to get a few more repetitions on a leg if we can. So again, half kneel position, a little bit of a forward lean, all of our weights driving through the front of our, or the heel of our front foot. Sorry, I got a little tongue pad. We're going to drive through that front heel, stand up, back down nice and slow. We don't want to crash land when we come down. If you have a really hard surface, it's perfectly okay to put a little cushion under that back knee. At any rate, we're going to try and get up to 8 repetitions per leg. So obviously be 8 on one leg, reset, drive from the front heel, and then 8 on the other. Okay. Second exercise is going to be a floor slide. This is great, again, if you spend a lot of time in front of the computer. This one's pretty tough to beat. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay flat on our back, pull our ribs to our hips, and bring your elbows out to your side and try and lay your forearms on the turf. You may not be able to get your forearms down, but what we're going to do is actively thinking about pressing our forearms to the turf. Deep breath in. Exhale up. Inhale down. If you notice that one arm goes up higher than the other, you can do these one arm at a time. Okay. We're okay with this being challenging because most likely it will be. We're not okay with pain. So if you do feel that difference between uncomfortable and pain in the shoulder, you do want to stop. Okay. And the third thing we're going to get is a bear crawl hold. So how we're going to do this, and I'll show you from the side, it's probably going to make more sense, is we're going to go from an all-fours position. We're going to float the knees, and then think about creating tension, pulling your hands toward your toes. And you can probably hear that quiver in my voice. Take a deep breath in. Exhale hard through the mouth. So in this case, the longer and slower you exhale, the more you're going to feel it in the abs, which is what we're after. So to recap, we're going to get up to 8 split squats per leg. Keep getting tongue-tied today. 8 floor slides, alternating if you need to, and then 5 big breaths on the bear crawl hold. Again, we're going to work up to 3 sets. Go ahead and hit pause. Get through it. We'll see you in a second. All right, guys, good job. That concludes our day 2 workout. Again, we should check all 3 boxes. 1, we should feel like we did something. Okay, that's important. 2, we should feel like we could do it again. Maybe not the second, but definitely in the future. We should feel better than when we started. And 3, hopefully you had a little bit of fun. Again, those are always the 3 things we're looking for. Hopefully we got them done. We have 1 more day this week. We want to give it about 48 hours before we go ahead and get that day 3 workout in. I'll see you in 48 and we'll get it done.